Who's winning the Heisman in 2024? Who's it going to be? I don't know. We're about to find out, though. We're going to do our very best to call our shot here. I think with the expanded college football playoff, we are going to have the most wide open race we've ever had. The reason why I say that, it used to be, not always, but more often than not, it was if your team is in contention for the college football playoff or a national championship, you are grouped into being a Heisman Trophy contender, right? Fair enough. It wasn't that way last year with Jayden Daniels, and thank the Lord for that because Jayden Daniels was the best player in college football last year. But I think with expanding the playoff, there's going to be a lot more players that are in contention for the college football playoff, on teams contending for the college football playoff, that is, that maybe before would have said, I don't know, they got 2 losses. I don't know, they lost that game early on in the year. Where now we're like, hey, they got 2 losses. They're going to be in the dance. Let's look at that team. Let's look at that team's quarterback. Let's look at that team overall as being a contender, which I think will ultimately just make for, again, a much more wide open race. College football sickos. Whether you're a fan of Alabama, a fan of Georgia, a fan of Tennessee, a fan of Ohio State, Miami, like whoever you are a fan of, I promise you, we're going to talk a lot about your team. This is a college football sicko kind of show run by a college football sicko, and we do our best to create a college football sicko kind of community. So if you want to be a part of that community, make sure you're subscribed right here to the On3 YouTube channel because it's college football every single day. Whether they're playing games, whether it's March, whatever it is, we're talking college football every single day. Want y'all a part of this, so make sure you're subscribed, and we appreciate you so much in advance for that. So we got our finalists, we got our winner. Before we get to that, though, I want to talk about who just missed the cut for us when it comes to finalists. Caleb Downs. If I knew how much offense he was going to play at Ohio State, I'd feel a lot better about making him a finalist. I think he's a dark horse kind of guy for this award. However, best player in college football, typically a quarterback award. It is what it is, but Caleb Downs, you could see him sneaking into the finalist category. I don't know that I would have him there right now based on what we know. Doesn't mean he's not still one of the best players in college football. Luther Burden. Now, we got to interview Luther Burden at SEC Media Days, and I asked him straight up, like, hey, man, what are your goals for 2024 personally? He's like, I want to win the Blitnikoff. I want to win the Heisman. Mic drop. I'm like, okay, like Luther Burden could absolutely do that, but just what I said about Caleb Downs is the truth about Luther Burden as well. It's a quarterback award. Fair or not fair, it's a quarterback award, and I have a difficult time seeing Luther Burden end up winning this thing. Now, 2 more quarterbacks that I think are just snubs. Snubs. Cam Ward, I think he is going to play well enough to be in this discussion and potentially be a finalist. My issue with him, though, is when you look at his November slate, like he's got Duke, at Georgia Tech, Wake, and at Cuse. It's a November award, too. Like, I don't know where my Heisman moment is coming from if I'm Cam Ward. Now, it could be in the ACC title game. That's absolutely true. However, I think Cam Ward, by nature of those lack of stages, I think that hurts him a little bit when it comes to winning this award or being a finalist for this award. Now, Jackson Dart, I think also is going to be one of the best quarterbacks in college football. And if you have watched this show, man, we have been carrying the flag for Darty's season out there in Oxford. Like, I think Jackson Dart is going to have a tremendous year. I think Ole Miss, spoiler, I think they're in the college football playoff. Our full prediction's coming tomorrow for you. But Jackson Dart, the reason why I don't have him as a finalist is I wonder how much Ole Miss is going to lean on him throughout the course of 2024. Because we know this, to win the Heisman Trophy, you got to pretty much put together a uninterrupted run of really good games. And the way that Ole Miss operates, man, like they may have some games where they just decide to run the football. Last year, Ole Miss ran the football 57% of the time. I don't know that that's going to benefit him when it comes to winning the Heisman. So one of the best players in college football, hands down. Will he be a Heisman finalist? TBD. So those are our snubs, but who's actually going to be a finalist when it comes time for this thing to be given out in New York City? We got 4 of them. The obvious one, this is a layup. Carson Beck is going to be a finalist for the Heisman Trophy. He is the betting favorite right now. The reason why I expect him to be in the room for that award being given out, they have a very deep wide receiver room. If they can stay healthy, that's obviously going to benefit him. He might have been a finalist last year had Brock Bowers stayed healthy and Ladd McConkey stayed healthy. He threw for almost 4,000 yards last year, and the folks at Georgia are like, yeah, man, we maybe should have cut him loose a little bit earlier. If they cut him loose from the jump, like I expect them to, he's going to have a massive massive 2024 season. I expect him to be in that 4K range yet again when it comes to yards on the course of the season. I love his November lineup too. Florida, at Ole Miss, Tennessee, all really good opportunities for him to have his Heisman Trophy moment. Because that's a thing too with this award. I told you, it's a November award. Having your best ball at the end of the season where folks have the Heisman at the top of their brain, I think that helps him. I think that benefits him, not even counting in the fact that I believe Georgia will be in the SEC title game as well. Another spoiler for you when it comes to our conference title picks. So, Carson Beck should be a Heisman finalist. I believe he will be a Heisman finalist. He's going to put up big numbers in a more wide-open Georgia offense. He's going to be a finalist. Another finalist from the Big Ten, Dillon Gabriel. I see the chat already popping off telling you that I'm going to pick Dillon Gabriel to win the whole darn thing. Stay tuned. We'll see what happens. He's going to put up massive numbers. Like, this offense, we've said it many times, is based on making good decisions and being in rhythm. Bo Nix set a completion percentage record last year at Oregon. All he did was get the ball to the right place and let his wide receivers work. That's not a knock on Bo Nix. That is a testament to Bo Nix being able to play within the structure of this offense. That is Dillon Gabriel, all right? He makes great decisions, played a lot of college football. That's going to benefit him. Getting up to speed in this offense is going to be massive. I love the November slate for him as well. You're at Michigan. You're at Wisconsin. I think the Big Ten title game will also be something that he has a chance to do. Keep an eye on Dillon Gabriel. I think that he's going to be someone that ends up being in the room for the Heisman Trophy ceremony. Quinn Ewers from Texas will be a Heisman Trophy finalist. Year 3 in the system, chance to put up massive numbers. He plays Florida in November, and then the finale at A&M for Texas. That might be the stage for him to plant the flag and say, here I am, Heisman Trophy me. That might be the deal for him. I love the wide receiver room. I understand they lost Xavier Worthy. They lost Adonai Mitchell. But you bring in Isaiah Bond. You got Silas Bolden. You got Matthew Golden. You got Amari Niblack. You got a lot of dudes that can real deal go for you on the perimeter there. They're going to be in good shape. Quinn Ewers playing in a quarterback-friendly offense where they're going to ask a lot of him, I believe, this year. Going to be a very, very good year for Texas. Going to be a very, very good year for Quinn Ewers. I believe he will be a Heisman Trophy finalist. Last one here. We've been pounding this drum for a while, man. I think Jalen Milroe is set to have a huge, huge year in Tuscaloosa. I'll just tell you this. Him and DeBoer, it's going to work. We've said it to anybody that will listen. We said it on Feinbaum's show. We've said it on this show a number of times. The way they're going to dial it up for him. The question last year was, well, is he consistent enough as a passer? I would argue, have we seen him be in a position where the offense around him is consistent enough for him to be a good passer? Now, he's not a bad thrower of the football. The stats indicate that. But I think what Kalen DeBoer is going to do, pre-snap, getting guys open, dialing up layups for him, you're going to see his completion percentage continue to climb. You're going to see his passing numbers continue to climb. And then also the way they take shots deep, that's something Jalen Milroe does as well as anybody else in the country. And then you pair that with the fact that the way this offense plays wide open, the way that Kalen DeBoer is going to call it, that's going to create a lot of space for Jalen Milroe to be the special athlete that he is and put up big numbers running the football. In November, he's at LSU. He's at Oklahoma. They finish with Auburn. Looks like stages to me. So Jalen Milroe will be a Heisman Trophy finalist. So who ends up winning the Heisman Trophy? This was tough. Again, I told you before the show, as if you're watching live right now, we didn't decide until probably like 25 or 20 minutes before the show when Nick Brake is slacking me saying, hey, who you got as your Heisman Trophy winner? I'm like, my bad, dog. I think when you look at history, that is our best teacher when it comes to picking this year's Heisman Trophy winner. A first-year quarterback in a new system, that's the key word there, a new system for the quarterback, has not won the Heisman Trophy since Johnny Manziel. So that would eliminate Jalen Milroe, new system with DeBoer. That would eliminate Dillon Gabriel, even though I think both guys will crush it. They'll be in new systems. And then I worry a little bit about the way that Georgia's going to operate offensively. Not in the sense that I don't think they're going to score a lot of points, but there's this Georgia stigma. And y'all know what I'm talking about. It was a thing with Stetson Bennett. It's been a thing with Brock Bowers. The Georgia stigma is they play such good complementary football that you don't know who to give the credit to. It's the defense. It's the run game. It's the quarterback. Yeah, but like they got a lot of ballers around him. And like whether we agree with that or not, I think that's going to be a factor in the Heisman Trophy race. So I think that Quinn Ewers is going to win your Heisman Trophy. I think that if they succeed, and I expect them to succeed, it will be because of him. It'll be because of how they throw the football downfield. I think Steve Sarkisian will go to even another level of this offense with him being his third year in the system. I love the weapons. I love the schedule. I think Quinn Ewers wins the Heisman Trophy. And I think that ultimately he is the guy that hoists that hardware because of all the reasons I just mentioned. So let me know who your Heisman pick is. But for us, we got Quinn Ewers of Texas bringing home that little bronze statue. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.